We've been powering the American road since before it was paved. Our first breakthrough in motor oil was introducing it. And we've been reinventing it ever since. From the world's first high-mileage oil to the world's first synthetic blend. There are those who change with the times, and those who drive them. Valvoline, the original motor oil.
The Falken Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falken Azenis RT660.
Hawk Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race-proven and street-legal. Find the Hawk Performance brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
FCP Euro is here to help you keep your car on the trails, track, or tarmac after a weekend of thrashing at GRIDLIFE Alpine Horizon Festival. So from now until Saturday, July 31st, we're giving the GRIDLIFE friends and fam 10% off their first order at fcpeuro.com using the code Alpine at checkout. Thank you all for watching this weekend, and we hope to see you at the track next time around.
What about a pizza delivery?
Oh, okay.
Trash truck plows through the delivery bikes. Formula D driver is waiting for his pizza. Says he'll deliver them in his Supra.
How about Fast Freddy's Pizza?
Love that.
Okay, let's go.
For the final GRIDLIFE Touring Cup race of our Alpine Horizon Festival weekend, there's no better way to celebrate than a Saturday night short track showdown. This is the last 15-minute sprint for GLTC with 6 cars inverted from our Race 3 results. It's time to turn our field upside down and turn them loose on this 1.3-mile, 9-turn roval. Hello, welcome back to GRIDLIFE Live. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Tom O'Gorman for our final race of the weekend. Tom, we saw an absolute spectacle for race number 3 earlier today. 1.3 miles, 9 turns around this roval, all of them exciting in the last race of earlier today, but we've got one more to finish out the weekend, and we inverted 6 cars. It's going to get spicy.
Race 4 is always our favorite for that reason, and it doesn't sound like much, but we've got 15 cars on the grid, so that's close to half the field that we've inverted, and things got, like you said, so exciting in race number 3. We actually had a bit of a misunderstanding at the finish, if you want to call it that. These drivers mount their transponders in different places on their race cars. We had a drag race to the finish between Jake Jornstad and Joel Morrison. We called Jornstad the winner of that drag race and the pole sitter for race 4. But in review after the fact, Joel Morrison was deemed the 6th place finisher. He starts on pole in the Nine Lives Racing S2000.
All right, so Joel Morrison and Eric Jensen will share the front row. Now, Eric Jensen, let's talk about his weekend. It's been hellacious, to say the least. From the first half of the weekend, he got run into, then broke an axle in races 1 and 2, while running in 4th on the last lap in both of those races, finished 14th in both. Then in race 3, he drove through half the field and finished in 5th spot, and that was his first top 5 ever in GLTC, so congratulations to him. He's going to roll off in the front row. The reason why I bring him up is because he has an LS swapped Scion FRS. That car has been a rocket ship on the starts this week, and Joel Morrison is in an F-Series S2000 that has been quick in the infield, but not the fastest on the oval section, so we're looking at a run down to turn 3. I think Jensen's going to win the race down there.
Yeah, Jensen has just been magic on the start, so much so that it was even called into question whether he was jumping them. And we looked into it super closely. Race Control did as well. The stewards did. And no, that car is just a rocket at the start. Whatever reason for that 4-speed transmission that he has, the dog box in that car, paired with the V8, the gearing is just magic at these starts. So I agree with the completely open air. I mean, he jumped to the lead from 5th, remember, back in race number 1. He's got no one in front of him now. So this is going to be a huge opportunity for, like you said, somebody that has had had a rather forgettable weekend up to this point. I know he would love to come out with that one.
You're watching just the tail end of an HPDE session here before we get our 15-minute sprint race underway. Let's have a look at our track map for today's final race of the weekend. It's 1.3 miles, Tom, around this racetrack, and it all starts with the NASCAR banking here. This track built in 1997, was purchased by ISC. IRL, NASCAR, it all ran here, Tom. Now we run the Roval.
Yeah, and if you've been with us all weekend, it's the same track, but down into road course turn 1, which is NASCAR turns 1 and 2. We have the big bump that we've always talked about right about there in the center, but it is flat out all the way from turn 9 all the way down to turn number 2. The braking point right at the apex for turn number 2. That's a heavy pinch point. Last year, we ended up 4 wide going into that at one point in the inverted race, so that could be interesting. Down into turns 3 and 4, a pair of hairpins back and forth, left then right, into a very rhythmic section, a little bit of a slalom, increasing radius for each one, number 5, 6, and 7, into a double apex turns 8 and 9 back onto the banking.
Well, we've seen the infield section be a challenge this weekend for a couple different reasons. It's hard to pass down there, Tom. Your real passing opportunities are either on the straightaway or into turn 3 or 4. Now, in race 3 earlier today, we saw some passing happen in the infield slalom section, as you called it, and I think if you can get someone put offline, it's game over, because that's a rhythmic section. If you can put someone off the rhythm, they're going to wash wide. We saw that with Brian Heitkotter and Justin Kelly. We saw that with Morrison and Joran Stad and Jeremy Boysen. They had a great battle. So, again, I think if you can get someone offline, you're going to have them. The problem is getting alongside them and staying there. But we also saw that maybe the unlocked secret is to go around the outside in turn 4. Not a lot of people have tried that to make a pass. It's working.
Yeah, we've seen 2 spots kind of become a game of guts. That's first the banking. If you're alongside somebody else, it's who's got the guts to stay flat out through that banking. GLTC cars are essentially flat across that entire section until the tires maybe get hot. But then in this section we're looking at right now, these basically a slalom. You're transitioning through turns 5, 6, 7, and 8. And like you said, if you can get around the outside, weirdly enough, into that section, either side kind of works, but if you can stay alongside from the outside of turn 4, that ultimately becomes the inside for turn 9. It just takes a long time to get there.
Here's a look at our 2D track map this time, and the one major thing that you're going to see here, the elevation at altitude 5,360 feet. That's 80 feet higher than a mile up here at Pikes Peak International Raceway, again constructed in 1997. Why is the elevation significant, Tom? If your car is naturally aspirated, which is everybody in GLTC, you're going to be making about 20% less power than you would at sea level, and that's very significant for the cars that already are low for power in the class, the 4-cylinder cars. The bigger displacements, the V6s, the V8s, they're in a little bit better shape, and that's kind of been the story of the weekend. But we have seen that there is a weakness to those bigger cars. If you can just get in front of them, you can hold them up long enough to be successful.
A bit, but this has definitely been a weekend of displacement, I would say. And in watching these races, and in 2021, whatever year, 2021 in general, GLTC has really seen an insurgence of big bore cars, we call them, V8s, V6s, anything more than 4 cylinders around these parts is considered big bore sometimes. But with that comes a little bit more grunt, and this place, if you boil it down, is a drag race from turn 9 back to turn 3, and then 3 hairpins. Displacement wins at that. So a guy like Joel Morrison, he's starting on pole. You're going to see him have to really, really work his butt off to not get run over in this race, because last year when we saw all these drivers that were finding success, I don't think we had anything other than 4 cylinders here last year, and this year has been a very different show.
I think there's one exception to that was Stephen Cox in the Corvette. Now, he was really good here last year, struggling this year in general. He's been to a couple of our Midwestern events, but has not really found success. I'm not sure why the formula is different, but here's a look at the weather information real quick, Tom, a quick tangent here. 69 degrees in the air. Track temp is way cooler than it was earlier today. See a radar, a couple blips here and there, popping up some showers, but it's not sticking rain. It's not flowing anywhere. It's not causing any problems, so you might see some raindrops. Unless it's absolutely downpouring, I don't think it's going to be a factor.
Yeah, what happens here is the sun is so hot on the surface gets so hot itself that when it does rain, it evaporates really, really quickly, and in fact it just cools the surface down. If you watched race 2 last night, Kyle and I were both so confused how these drivers were setting almost qualifying pole lap times in the rain, and it was because it was only raining enough to cool the surface down, not actually get very wet, and that's happened here again today. But there is a lot of moisture in the air. It's very humid today. You can just kind of smell the moisture, and you know what that feels like when you smell it. But it's not actively raining hard enough to wet this surface, but I think we're good. There is just that haze. It just feels a little bit wet here.
So we talked about the drivers that took the advantage of the inversion, Joel Morrison, Eric Jensen, and Tiffany Kelly is going to start in row number 2. But the drivers that we probably should really be watching are the next 3, Jeremy Swenson, Justin Kelly, and Brian Heitkotter. Heitkotter was our winner from race 3. Swenson is another one to watch. He won the first 2 races of the weekend. I still think that car, if you can get it out front, is going to just win the race, hands down. But if you can keep him out of the front, I don't think that Jeremy has really had to pass anybody yet this weekend. He did a couple on the banking earlier, but he's pretty much just been able to motor by everybody on the straights. If you can put him in the back in the infield, it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, he has not been nearly as fast in a straight line as we've seen other tracks. I know a lot of the tracks that really do cater to the 4 cylinders a little bit more, that car tends to stand out as an outlier and like, holy cow, that car is fast. Here this weekend, he's not the fastest in a straight line. He's not the fastest off the corners. He is the fastest kind of average. You know, he's not the slowest off turn 9. He's not the fastest at the end, but around the average of the banking, he is one of the faster cars. And I think that Jeremy, as you mentioned, he hasn't had to come from behind much, but he did have to do that amazing outside maneuver to get back to the lead at the start of race number 1, and he's kind of been able to keep himself there based on really smart racing, really consistent lap times as well. Although maybe not always the fastest lap to lap, he's been super consistent. So this is going to be really interesting with him a little bit buried in 4th, and he's going to have Heitkotter right behind him. The other storyline is, you mentioned the Kellys. They're going to start nose to tail. They have found straight line speed in those cars overnight by trimming them out, by doing a little bit of suspension work, and they've picked up what appears to be something like 5 to 7 miles an hour. They went from being among the slower cars with those V6 swapped S2000 and FRSs respectively to pretty much appearing to be the fastest cars on the straightaways. So we could have a very different look, and those cars, again, teammates starting nose to tail. I mean, you'd work together, right?
I think so. I think working together, let's do it Talladega style here on the NASCAR banking on a Saturday night. I like that. Again, you'll notice that we were watching cars that were not GLTC cars, just finishing up an HPDE session once again. Lots of people lining up at the stage to get ready for our music festival here this weekend. A lot of big names coming out. Suicide Boys at 11 Mountain Time. That's about 5 hours from now. Again, the music will not be streamed, unfortunately. You had to be here. Sorry, it's sold out. You got to get your ticket earlier next year. But a lot of people will gather on the rail to watch this race happen here in just a minute. Look at that. We got some B-roll. Thanks, guys. And we got our video of the Camera Bros also. They've been doing a great job here this weekend, Tom. So you just joined us. We were watching HPDE. Now we're getting ready for our race. We're a little bit behind on schedule. We came in a little bit early to kind of update you on where things are, but the cars are on the grid, and we're about ready to go racing for the final time this weekend in GLTC. If you just joined us, we were mentioning the invert. 6 drivers from race 3 were flipped around backwards. Brian Heitkotter, that won that race, will start 6th. Now, let's talk about CFR for a second. Chris Forsberg Racing. They built this car in about 2 weeks at the beginning of the year. Back at COTA, I think you mentioned it earlier, they were kind of trying to figure it out. They were learning a lot about this car. They're getting it more and more dialed in, and one thing I think they've improved drastically is the brakes on that car. There was a lot of issues getting the ABS dialed in, and because it wasn't working. Now he's one of the best cars on the brakes, and that's where he beat Justin Kelly, was on the brakes around this track. So keep an eye on Heitkotter, especially into turn 3.
Yeah, and it's a really strong car in the banking as well. Not necessarily a standout fast or slow, but it does its job. He was able to slowly but surely reel down Justin Kelly throughout the rest of the race, and we saw basically a carbon copy of 2 of our front runner. Well, I don't want to necessarily say that, but we had Heitkotter, Swenson chasing a Kelly each, and both times it took them a long time to reel them in and then work around them. It took them multiple attempts, and you basically get a little further alongside, little further alongside, little further alongside, and finally they were able to make the move stick. But they had to make it into turn number 3 and gap them in the infield. So we have a lot of ebb and flow happening, and if you're not familiar with GLTC racing, we are wheel-to-wheel racing for 15 minutes. It's a quick sprint race, and this is the race number 4 of 4 in the weekend. We have a championship for points. I have to imagine, based on consistency, Jeremy Swenson is right on top, but I don't think Heitkotter is out yet. Jeremy Swenson has a first, and a third. Heitkotter has a second, and a first. So if he is able to win this race with Swenson out of the top 2, that's going to look really good for his weekend championship. He could go from winless on the season to winning a weekend.
And think about the points championship overall, right? We have 15 cars here. Typically, we have fields of 35, 40. We only score points back to 20th. So everybody here scores points. So for their efforts of bringing their cars out here, they were rewarded with the full points values that you'd get at any other race weekend. So that's an advantage to just being here. So for guys like Brian Heitkotter that missed a couple rounds at the beginning of the season, they're in a prime spot to make up a lot of ground on drivers like like you guys, who also missed a couple rounds, but you're kind of mired in roughly the same area in the points. I think Highcotter's a little further back, but it's going to get real interesting. There's some real good races coming up. Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in 2 weeks, going to be a blast. Going to have pretty much a full field for that one. Got Heartland Motorsport Park in Topeka, Kansas at the end of August. Then we head to our Midwest Festival in September, another one of our festival events. Then we finish things off at Road America, the National Park of Speed, in October to finish off our competition season. So lots to follow along. If you'd like to know more about the series, you can go to grid.life. Points for the series, grid.life/GLTC-points. I see some raindrops on the windows. I'm not even going to acknowledge them because last time we did, I got confused and it was a bad time. Do have Adam Jabay out there at the exit of the banking on NASCAR 2, just taking a look at the racetrack. And Adam typically checks out the surfaces, especially if there is any sort of failure in the previous session. There's Plowman. Hey, buddy. Walking back. He's on a mission. He's probably... so I guess we're going to be putting the live stream on the stage, I think is what we're hearing, which would be really, really cool. I think that's what's happening. Oh, I heard it just got fixed. It just got sorted. So we got the main stage is going to have our show. Is my face going on the stage?
I don't know. I got confused with all that, but...
Only
okay.
For night shift trip. Okay, well...
I'm glad you kept up with that because my eyes just crossed. But the moral of the story is it's not wet on the racetrack. We're not going to talk about the rain. The windshield wipers are on, but I guarantee you the surface is not wet yet. And we're looking at a full field 15 GLTC cars. Holy cow, Jake Jornstad trying to warm those tires up big time on that TLS 2000. But pole sitter, by surprise a little bit, Joel Morrison is following that 2020 GR Supra around. On
2021 GR Supra.
You said 2022 yesterday. How dare you? Just kidding.
Yes, again, Toyota has provided us these Super Pace cars. They gave us some Tacomas and Tundras and 4Runners for the off-road course, the Toyota off-road course here this weekend. They got the prototype Toyota 86 down there in the paddock as well, but a 2021 Toyota GR Supra is our pace car here this weekend. A gorgeous-looking car, if I do say so myself. Mike Cohn, one of our staff, driving it at the moment. And across the line, they will come for their first pace lap, 1.3 miles more, Tom, and we're going racing here from Pikes Peak International Raceway.
So at the beginning of race number 3, we had 5 wide momentarily. We had 4 wide, fairly sustained, down into the banking on the green flag. So behind these guys here, this could get very, very interesting. We have Joel Morrison starting on the front row in that black with green accents, 9 Lives Racing S2000. To his flank, the best starter here this weekend, bar none, Eric Jensen in that black V8 powered 4-speed dog box swapped FRS. We have some cool builds here, but this is going to be a very interesting start. It's very unpredictable with the banking.
Unpredictable is a great word to use here, Tom. Again, you're full throttle from the moment you take the green flag all the way to right here. Then you're going to be on your binders. Better hope you got ABS. Better hope it's working because you're slowing down to essentially the bottom of second gear before you sling it around to turn number 3. You do a short sprint to turn 4, turn around backwards, go the other direction, jump some curbs, V8 supercar style, and then turn around and do it all over again back on the front straightaway. So, grid. Race 4 of the weekend. Joel Morrison, Eric Jensen on row number 1.
Then Tiffany Kelly, Jeremy Swenson in the purple Corvette alongside each other in row 2.
Justin Kelly in the 86, Brian Highcotter, race 3 winner in the 3rd row.
Then the first of the teal Myriad cars, Jake Jornstad in 7th. Jeremy Boysen in the top-running front-wheel drive car, Acura RSX, right there in 8th.
9th place, Nick Steniford alongside Stephen Cox in the red, black, and white Corvette.
Then the other TLS 2000, Felipe Gonzalez alongside Colton Wade in the white BMW.
Brian DeFries, Jorge Ortiz, and Riley Griffin will round out our 15-car field as we come out of turn number 9. The 2021 Toyota GR Super Pace car is going to make the hard left-hand turn onto pit lane. Saturday night short track showdown for GLTC. 15 cars deep. They come out of NASCAR 4. They're going to see the green flag as the sun sets here at Alpine Horizon. Green flag flies. Justin Kelly with a spectacular start. 3 wide on the bottom of the racetrack for the lead.
Cheeky. They were holding back big time there, but it kind of worked. The stewards are going to be watching that, but we're side by side. FRS is door to door across the bump. Big bounce across the outside for Jensen. He's going to try to hold those brakes for Kelly on the inside. Swenson also held back at the start. It didn't pay off for him nearly as well. He's got Brian Highcotter problems already.
Brian Highcotter up the inside for 3rd place. Big dive for the lead.
Brilliant.
He goes by both the 2 FRSs. Now he's going to grab the spot. He takes it from Jensen and the 86 of Justin Kelly. Goes to the top spot. Justin Kelly to 2nd. Jensen back to 3rd. Swenson 4th. Boysen up to 5th place. Colton Wade spun in the background.
Whoa, yeah, he might have gotten a little bit. This looks slipperier than yesterday, so we'll have to keep an eye on this. Look at the cars floating just a little bit. Whoa, Jensen, big slide. We have track condition problems outside the cones for Kelly. Punts him back onto the track. Everybody's scrabbling for grip.
And they're side by side. Jensen slow up over the top of the curbs. Jeremy Swenson nowhere to go. Now they're still side by side. Justin Kelly door to door with them. These two FRSs have been alongside each other for the entirety of the first lap. Swenson slide 3 wide behind him. 3 S2000s abreast. Now back onto the banking. Jensen with a great run.
Look at the V8 stretch its legs. He's got great gearing for the banking here. Justin Kelly picked up some top speed for race number 3, but it's not enough. That V8's going to get to the bottom. Jeremy Swenson getting gapped by both of them, and Jeremy Boysen has joined this battle as well, running those treaded race tires that he's on. Those wake up real early. Brian Heitkotter is gone. I don't think anybody's going to get him unless there's a track condition that catches him out, and he is so experienced that would be a massive surprise. Look at the Nissan deep on the brakes down in turn number 3, and the rest of the field has big problems with this gap.
Yeah, he's got it sorted at the moment. Ooh, a little bit of a bobble there through the corner. Swenson up for second place on Jensen. He went by both the two FRSs. He's going to grab it. Here's Jeremy Boysen in the front-wheel drive car, again running that treaded street tire on the 2 front wheels. That's going to be helpful in conditions like this.
I'm impressed. Swenson just went by both of those guys, but Jensen got the run up the inside. He's going to try to make this work, but we've seen the outside of turn 4 work, and it works once more. Jeremy Boysen in the background, the RSX having a look at the back of Justin Kelly, but now we have our top 2 familiar faces up at the front, but in the backwards order than we're used to seeing. Can Jeremy Swenson run down Brian Heitkotter potentially?
There's standing water out there, and they're slipping and sliding. Here comes Boysen now up the inside of Justin Kelly. This is going to be for, what, 4th place as they come across the line. Heitkotter leads the way. Lap time at a 1:07.6, so we are definitely 5 or 6 seconds off pace. Here's Kelly around the outside of Boysen now as they drag race on the banking, Tom.
Boysen is in prime conditions. That front-wheel drive car will handle these conditions better. It is on that a little bit of tread with those tires that he's running. Justin Kelly goes for the over-under. He's going to look up the inside. Jeremy Boysen does not have ABS. What's going to happen here?
He locked up in race number 1 in the weekend. I think he's got... Well, he stopped pretty good there. Now he's going to go the long way around. Justin's going to struggle for grip on the inside here. The water's going to collect near the curbs. Boysen, power move around the outside. He hangs on to 4.
And we have tire spray. It is absolutely wet out there. Most of these drivers started on no-tread race tires. So keep an eye out. Jeremy Boysen's going to move his way forward, but Jeremy Swenson also on treaded tires. Look at how much grip he is struggling for. That's Eric Jensen with a big drift off of turn 4.
There's a cone in the racetrack. They're all trying to avoid hitting, too. And not that it would be a huge deal to hit it. You just don't want to get stuck under your car. That's not an advisable mechanical change, but Jensen now struggling with rear grip as well as they exit onto the banking. Boysen now closing in on that LS swap FRS. Heitkotter across the line, 1:07.631. Swenson, I think, is going to run a little quicker, 1:06.8. So that was a second faster for the 2nd place car.
And I think that the treaded tires are really working for our 2nd and 4th place cars. The purple Corvette and the RSX are looking really good right now. The question is whether or not it's going to continue to get wetter. It looks like, based on the color of the track, that this is going to be a wet race for the remaining 12 or so minutes. As we are deep on the brakes down into turn 3, Jensen is going to try to start running that outside lane potentially, looking for some grip. Oh, Swenson is coming quick.
Oh, we're going to have a battle for the lead here, Tom. I think Swenson's got the better tire for this condition. Heitkotter, though, has the experience behind them. Jensen and Jeremy Boysen waiting in the wings if these two get close together. Heitkotter balancing on the edge of rear-wheel drive control at the moment. Again, on the slick tires is going to be struggling. Even with that extra experience, the little bit of tread that Swenson has is going to be helpful here.
Surprised to see that we haven't seen people really running outside lines. There's Justin Kelly down to 5th, and behind they have really pulled out from Jake Jornstad, moved up to 6th. Tiffany Kelly has fallen to 7th. Joel Morrison seems to really be struggling with these changing conditions, back to 8th from 3rd on the grid.
I think the front is going to get very, very spicy. We have not really seen these two have a fair face-off. I think Heitkotter is a little bit quicker. I think Jeremy Swenson is going to have the better tire. So I think we're going to see how this really pans out. Now that Heitkotter's got the advantage over Swenson. Swenson had the lead most of the time this weekend. It was Heitkotter on the attack. Roles reversed. I think this is going to look a little bit different.
And Swenson's continuing to lap about a second faster than Heitkotter. That Corvette is doing very, very well with these conditions, given the little bit of siping it has to filter that water out. Still on the dry line, though. They're not really hunting for big grip. Look at the slide from the 370. He's going to be open for attack. Can Jeremy Swenson make that outside work one more time?
Here we go. This is how the lead got swapped. Actually, all the times it swapped this weekend was in this corner right here. Heitkotter, big slide, power down. Now for the lead, nose to tail, Heitkotter and Swenson. A little tap on the brakes there for security, up and over the curbs. Heitkotter tiptoeing. Swenson is attacking.
He's definitely tiptoeing. He's absolutely in Swenson's way at this point, but that's not his problem. That's Swenson's problem to figure out. And that sealant is going to be so slick. You see both cars float for just a second before getting up onto that NASCAR banking. Hey, we race in the rain here.
Just
got to say that.
Here we go across the line to complete our 5th lap of the day. Brian Heitkotter, again, slower than Swenson, but not by a lot. Again, track position is key. It's hard to pass here, Tom. So I think you see Heitkotter's car stumble again. It was struggling over the bump, so I think he's losing some power here. Here comes Swenson to driver's right, door-to-door for the, car backwards in the wall at the exit of NASCAR 2. I think, was that Tiffany Kelly?
It was, and that car was definitely had made contact with the wall. The rear brake light is shattered, if nothing else.
This is a bad spot. So I would, there is a caution waving from the main flag stand. This is a full course caution. There will be a full course yellow. The cars will slow down.
Still local for now. We are still racing. These two can swap spots for now.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I guess I would recommend, I don't know, I don't like a car out there regardless. But we're going to keep racing for the front spot. There it is, full course caution. That's a good call. I don't like having cars turn around backwards in the fastest portion of the racetrack, even with just a local. So that was a good call there. So we're gonna pause this race and hopefully get Tiffany's car pulled off the racetrack. And that is really unfortunate for Tiffany. That car is certainly backed in the wall. You're well into the triple digits at the exit of that corner, and that is probably not an awesome spot to hit. So we're gonna get an update for you on Tiffany as soon as we can. And we're going to slow down and double them back. Or are we? Yeah, we are full course yellow on Race Hero. So we are going to. Has the pace car been deployed yet?
As far as I can tell on the racetrack, we are not full course yellow. We are local yellow only through NASCAR's 1 and 2. There it is. We are full course.
Okay. So
totally agree with you that that's the right call. Yep. So we have one lapped car that's going to get waved around the pace car, and then our leaders will pick that up. We are exactly halfway through this race, 7.5 minutes out of the 15 minutes. The question is whether we will get to resume or not, whether it will be deemed safe to resume, because we do know all these drivers went out on their dry tires. It's a question mark. I would want to resume the race, but I'm not race control.
As a competitor, you're going to want to. As race control, we have Renee Hines and Scott Giles and Adam Jabay. They're going to look at this and say, hey, is this worth tearing up cars for? The competitors, they might feel a little bit different about this, but there's Tiffany's car. Again, I've asked to get an update on Tiffany as soon as possible, but for now, we remain under full course yellow with the field stacking back up behind the pace car. So there's Tiffany's car. You can see, I think you can see the tire mark where it backed in, and the tail light is broken, but I don't. The wing end plate is missing. I don't see any massive damage. We're not going to get a good look at this until it turns back around. But for the time being, just catching everybody back up and waiting to deploy the safety trucks when we've got everybody at a slow speed. And we're under full course caution here for the last race of the weekend for GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. Brian Heitkotter leads the way over. Where is
Jeremy Swenson? Was not scored last time across the start-finish line. I was going to wait for a visual on that before pointing it out, but the purple Corvette didn't trip the timing lights last time through.
Yeah, I don't have an update on him, but I wonder if he had pulled down pit lane. So that's an interesting development, because that would promote Eric Jensen up to second place. Now there's Adam Jabay taking a look in the window here. And they're going to try to get her on the hook and out of the way to see if we can resume this race, if at all possible.
The back of that car looks a little wonky, meaning the ride height is not quite right. I hope there's not significant suspension damage to the left rear, but it looks like there might have been some suspension folded up underneath there just a bit.
Yep, so the car is rolling, so that tells me that Tiffany is okay. Again, this is an old school racetrack, Tom. It was built in 1997, but this is before the age of safer barriers. So for those that don't know, a safer barrier is essentially a 4-inch steel square tube that has foam blocks behind it that then sits next to the concrete. It is an energy absorbing barrier. This track is not equipped with those barriers, so anytime that you hit the concrete, it's not a great time here, Tom. So I just want to make sure that Tiffany's okay. We'll get an update on her as quickly as possible for you. But again, the speeds you're seeing here in the rain in that area of the racetrack are pretty high, so that is a cause for concern. So with the field pace down, this car, once it gets dragged off the racetrack, I don't see any reason why we couldn't go green. I think that's up to the discretion of the race control and directors, which given what has happened, I'm not sure if I would go back green if I was race control, but we'll see if that is the plan.
Did you see that? What was that?
No, I didn't see anything.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
So I did see Jeremy Swenson on track, if you see me looking over here. Jeremy Swenson was still in running order. Things get funny on timing and scoring.
Could be a transponder issue with the weather, the rain getting into the electrical. Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. So that car is up on the hook now. And we are 11 minutes into this race, and typically when we get a full course yellow, we try to get a lap or two back racing before the end of the event. Because ending under caution is never fun. Our last race at Autobahn Country Club ended under yellow as well. And that's never fun because it's anticlimactic. So hopefully.
Well, speaking of Autobahn, Jeremy Swenson jumped out in the lead of that race and was being pursued heavily by Andy Smedegaard when the full course caution came out. Andy had basically gotten to him but was not given any sort of opportunity to pass because of the timing that the caution came out. Now the rules are reversed. Swenson was just getting to the back bumper of Heitkotter and just getting the opportunity to try to make a move, and the full course caution comes out. So the rules have reversed just a little bit here. Swenson's got to be feeling just a bit frustrated. He really wants this race to resume. I don't know if it's still actively raining. I don't see anybody looking like they're getting soaked, but the track is wet.
Let's have a look at some replays from the race so far here today. Here's a look at the start of the event. Let's watch Justin Kelly very carefully. Third row back.
The fourth and fifth place cars hung back. I don't like the way that looks at all. But they both definitely.
No, that's a jump to me, Tom.
Yeah, both drivers need a little bit of at least a shake into the fist at that, because it just looks bad when you're hanging back like that, going for a run. But hey, whatever, it happened. We're moving on. The FRS is door to door into the banking there, and they were super close. Jensen with a little bit more legs in the V8 trying to make the move around the outside.
Look at Heitkotter.
Just
what a move.
A pro move up the inside. Spectacular stuff with a fair start as well. Jumps to the lead and then starts to figure out, oh, it's wet.
It sure is wet, and you're going to see Jensen here in this black and red FRS go for a big slide. Here's for the lead. Watch them all go for a big moment. Justin Kelly went sailing off course. I think he's somewhere in Wyoming right now. Clips a couple of cones before coming back through Idaho and then back to Colorado to get back on the racetrack.
One up to space. He's like, I want to join you, Jeff Bezos, and whatever the other guy's name is. Punts the cone all the way up there. Then it's a couple of V8s trying to get the power down. Swenson power move around the outside figuratively and literally to get the position back from Eric Jensen. And that is where we kind of left off. Swenson continued to start to reel in Brian Heitkotter. Heitkotter again running no treaded race tires. Swenson running treaded street tires. That allowed him to seem to have a little bit more control over his car, run down Heitkotter, and now here we stand.
So lights are off, well, the flashing hazards are off on the pace car. That tells me that we should be coming to green. Now the track is still very wet, so caution is definitely here. There is a transponder issue with Jeremy Swenson's car. The team is going to do manual passing for him if they can, but just know that Jeremy Swenson in the purple Corvette is still scored in second. It is Eric Jensen scored third, then Jeremy Boysen scored in fourth, just to update you on that scenario. So we should get, at the very least, I would imagine 2 laps of racing, maybe 3 here to finish out our weekend in GRIDLIFE Touring Cup from Alpine Horizon. And 1 car down. We're going to take the green flag, I hope. Pace car going to make the left-hand turn. Here we go. Brian Heitkotter's got to defend. We're coming to the green.
Feel pretty strung out coming up on now. They're getting stacked up just a little bit. Jensen,
look at that start.
He had another gap. I guess he was like, hey, if you're going to hang back on the green, I'm going to do it on the restart. Jeremy Boysen up the inside. We're almost 3 wide. I hope everybody is using caution coming through the banking, through the bump. Whoa, Swenson, no bump, high, and it pays off. Now Jeremy Boysen goes up the inside as well. Brian Heitkotter able to maintain his speed. We're still side by side for third.
Into the braking zone now. Heitkotter leads the way. Swenson trying to close. Now Jensen up the inside of Boysen. This is a battle for third. Justin Kelly watching from 5th place now as we head through turn number 3. Slow and gingerly. Boysen wide. Jensen up the inside trying to get some overlap. He can't do it. Boysen stays third for now.
Heitkotter, you see the expertise that he has using the middle of the track to slow the car down, running just a little bit offline to try to get that grip. Jeremy Swenson mirroring his moves. Jeremy Boysen is lurking in the background. Remember, the 2nd and 3rd place cars have treaded tires. They're going to sipe that water out from underneath them. Any hydroplaning you're seeing Heitkotter do, they will not have to deal with nearly as well. And we have all that sealer coming through this turns 8 and 9 section. They're just out of frame. They're going to be slipping and sliding. Everybody's stacking up through turn 7 in the camera right now.
I'm keeping my one eye out the window to see if we're going to get 2 or 1 to go, but it's for the lead. Here's the white flag one more time around 1.3 miles, 9 turns. Heitkotter has it. Jeremy Swenson wants it, and Boysen is coming.
Look at the run that Boysen got. All of a sudden, he had nitrous for just a second, but it didn't quite pay off. The Corvette starts to breathe once again. Everybody highline, avoiding the bump, trying to make sure that they're maybe in a little bit of those marbles to try to get some grip. And then Swenson drops to the bottom. This is going to be such high intensity in that 370Z. He needs to hold on for about 6 more corners.
Swenson is closing big time in the braking zone for turn number 3. He's only 3 car lengths, 2 car lengths back now as they exit the 3rd corner into the infield section. It's going to take a mistake from Heitkotter. He doesn't make a lot of those. Swenson is going to have to be there to attack.
It's getting closer and closer. Whoa, big float from the 30 car. That's the Corvette in the background. You saw the back end step out, a little bit of opposite lock in the way in the corner. It's going to hurt him on the exit.
Through the last twisty bits here in GLTC at Alpine Horizon, Heitkotter being very ginger on the painted curbing. Swenson is right there. He'd love to get one more win. Heitkotter would love to go for his 2nd career victory through the last corner here at Alpine Horizon, exiting turn 9 onto the banking. Drag race, Heitkotter's wide. Here they come. Here comes Boysen. 3 wide for the lead. They touch. Swenson gets turned off the nose of the 99. They come. Heitkotter wins, and they crash behind them at the start-finish line. Boysen comes home 2nd. And Jensen, who is 4th, I think is going to come through and take at least 3rd place. Yes.
Very minor contact between the cars. That's unfortunate to see, but obviously it was not a huge incident. Jeremy Swenson's got to be frustrated with that a little bit, but it looked like he was on a mission to go to the bottom of the track, regardless of whether or not Boysen was there or not. We'll have to review that heavily in race control after the fact, but just a standing O for Brian Heitkotter in not ideal conditions on not ideal tires. Here's an instant replay. Boysen makes the move. He's absolutely established. Swenson tries to go to the bottom.
Yeah.
I seem to be not paying any attention to the car on his left.
He just turned left there, Tom. That's on Swenson, unfortunately. And that's one of those situations where, you know, you can't put that on Boysen. He was there and had racetrack and had the overlap there, but Swenson, that was a mistake. And we had talked all weekend long about how Swenson hasn't made pretty much a single mistake all weekend. That was it right there, unfortunately, involved some contact. Congratulations to Brian Heitkotter, though. What a drive.
Well, we mentioned at the top of the show, if he's able to win this race, I think no matter where Swenson finished, he was going to be the weekend champion, and he did so in spectacular fashion, and he absolutely earned it. He goes from winless at the start of the season to not only a 2-time race winner, but a weekend champion for our first festival in 2 years. I mean, that's got to feel so good for these guys.
That's amazing. Congratulations to Brian Heitkotter. Hey, Jeremy Boysen, even with the dramas there at the end, he picks up a 2nd place. I think that's his best finish ever. Ditto for Eric Jensen. That's his first podium in GLTC after a tough weekend. What a battle there. This race had a little bit more dramas than I would have liked from a car contact perspective here, Tom, but great battles throughout, and especially at the front. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sure we missed some spectacular stuff towards the back too, but when the front is that good, you just got to keep watching. So again, props to Brian Heitkotter for the 2 wins there. Jeremy Boysen, I think he did a spectacular job in that race as well. He certainly had the car for the race. I think that he might have been the most well-equipped for those conditions with the front-wheel drive with a little bit of tread on those tires, and he drove it so well from, I mean, where did he start? He started 8th, didn't he?
Yeah, far back.
Yeah, 8th.
8th. I'm looking at the race 4 grid fixed. He started 8th.
From 8th to 2nd. I mean, spectacular.
Plus 6.
Well done.
Nice job for Jeremy Boysen, and I hope that car. What's that?
Oh, I was going to say, and hey, Eric Jensen. He comes home with a podium at the end of the weekend.
Man.
So frustrating all weekend, and he gets it done. So I think we have 3 well-deserved podium finishes here in that race.
Well, GLTC never disappoints. It is one of the best grassroots racing organizations in North America for a reason. This track lends itself to some very challenging situations, especially in the wet. I'm going to go check in on Tiffany Kelly. Again, I assume she drove that car up onto the hook, so I think that's okay. But the rain has fallen here. We've got drift coming up in just a couple of minutes. I think we're going to sign off for the weekend here, Tom. We're going to see you. Well, I won't see you, and Tom won't because you're going to be racing. But Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in 2 weeks' time. I'm Kyle Heyer with Tom O'Gorman at the FCP Euro Race HQ. We're going to see you next time here from GridLife Live. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you at Mid-Ohio. GRIDLIFE Touring Cup is brought to you by FCP Euro. Every part you buy is guaranteed for life. Falken Tire. Falken Tires, competition-proven performance. MOMO, the official safety partner of GRIDLIFE. Hawk Brakes, race-proven, street-legal. And by Valvoline. Valvoline VR1, available at Advanced Auto Parts stores. Alpine Horizon is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Airlift Performance. Airlift Performance lets you get low and live your life on air. Check out all their newest products, including Builder Series shocks, threaded manifolds, and flow air ride tanks at airliftperformance.com.
FCP Euro is here to help you keep your car on the trails, track, or tarmac after a weekend of thrashing at GRIDLIFE Alpine Horizon Festival. So from now until Saturday, July 31st, we're giving the GRIDLIFE friends and fam 10% off their first order at FCPEuro.com using the code Alpine at checkout. Thank you all for watching this weekend, and we hope to see you at the track next time around.
The Falken Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falken Azenis RT660.
What about a pizza delivery?
Oh, okay.
Trash truck plows through the delivery bikes. Formula D driver is waiting for his pizza. Says he'll deliver them in his Supra.
How about Fast Freddy's Pizza?
Love that.
Okay, let's go.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome out here to Pikes Peak International Raceway. This is Alpine Horizon Festival. I'm Jared Diendo and Paco Ibarra. There are 111 R's in your last name. It's amazing. I mean, not a lower third, but look, there they are. We're trying to fit all of the R's into that lower third, but now we need like a lower 18th. Honestly, I just ran here.
I was to say, this is not sweat.
It is raining, but I was hanging out with Cletus and Vaughn's just hanging out like he's in his street clothes, and I'm like, oh, they're shredding. So I know there was a delay, but here we are, a little wet and slippery, no big deal.
We got what we call the wet session.
Yeah.
So there's the expression session, the wet session. What are the sessions we have?
This is a splash zone. Yeah, when you go to SeaWorld, former times. Let's, I think SeaWorld, doesn't need blackfish. I don't know if you've seen the documentary, but kind of not the best.
But like the fans right there by the wall.
Yeah,
that's a splash zone.
That is a splash zone, but it's like a wet and dirty splash zone.
It's like a splish splash.
I was taking a bath. That's right. But look at this. Hey, the best thing about this, tire attrition. Tires are going to stay together longer, and they're not going to burn through them as fast.
That's one of the cool things about drifting. Drifting doesn't care if it's rain.
No.
It's like, oh, there's water. Perfect. I'm just saving some tires. It might look a little slower, but these guys, they actually enjoy the different dynamics of the wet sessions.
Dude, Sopa's out there, back to the Fusion, the wet Fusion. He's got his tire flies on. He's getting prepared for the. He's getting prepared for the satellite shield that's coming up, the Iron Shield. Chelsea Denofa, there he is. He's out there. I know he's having some issues a little bit with this vehicle, but he's back out there. We got a couple bro stangs. Oh, look at that. There's a splash. It looks like the front of what's the Las Vegas, the Bellagio. Oh, it's the Bellagio.
Yeah,
when just a fountain starts to cascade,
and
there's a whole story. It's a beautiful thing. It's poetic.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. So we got Chelsea Denofa. That is Justin Pollock. Also got the Drift Vets. Look at these guys. You got Matt Field. You got Dirk Stratton, which I have not seen Dirk, but I'm sure we'll share an adult libation later. Maybe now. He might just park and come up here because he feels compelled.
Yeah, we have Alex Anderson as well. Yep. Nick Rose. And there it is.
Oh, Cleater said, you know what? I'm just gonna go full pull, no doors. I actually buttoned up. So another thing, I buttoned up his what do you call it? The ponchos. I buttoned up his poncho.
So he's driving with a racing poncho.
He's got a racing poncho. Brought to you by Monster Energy Drink. Yeah, he's got an M claw on the back of that thing.
I mean, because doors are overrated.
Yeah.
But let me put on a poncho.
Nope. Don't need no stinking doors. I'm just gonna shred and just have a good time. Ryan Turk out there, Josh Robinson. Oh, there's Michael Essa. We haven't seen him for a few moments. Oh, look at that front lip.
Oh, he's got
Styles. Look at this.
He's giving us a little preview of what's coming for the night and the night shift.
Don't look at it too long. You might have a stroke. Yeah. It's like playing Pokemon. Remember that? All the warnings back in the day?
The strobing. Yeah, the seizures.
Hey, it's a serious thing.
Yep.
You need to take it very seriously. Do not look at the strobe lights.
You know what? I'm actually the most impressed that these drift cars have working windshield wipers.
Fact.
You know, because
Fact.
I'll be like most drifters, the last thing they think about is their windshield wipers. A lot of them use them as props for their engine, for the hoods, you know, and actually props this guy actually keeping the water out of it.
I don't know why I still have my sunglasses on my shirt, by the way. I was just looking at that. Saw the footage, showed it to Vaughn and basically Alec, Cletus, and they were super pumped on the can grab. The can grab heard round the world. The MOMO moments in our last session was absolutely awesome. Vaughn loved it. It's going to be posted. You'll see it here shortly.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was. There it is. Here is the MOMO moment that we saw earlier in our last session. Ready? Hey, bro, you want a monster? I got you, dog.
Got you.
Say no more, fam.
Boom.
Fun haver glove. Rip it, grip it, pop it, drop it, top, drip, blop, slip. Oops, it's wet. Oh gosh, I didn't know you were gonna beatbox. Oh, I'm terribly uninformed. I didn't even know you could beatbox.
I was just
Paco.
following your flow, man.
It was good, Paco. He sounds like one of the drum and bass beats we heard earlier, just playing, echoing through here when I say his last name.
Look at that! You know, all the colors of the rainbow right there: blue, red, white, green, more blue, more red. Look at that.
Yep, that got creepy real quick. Drift Riot boys. Nick Gross. I saw Nick right before the last session. He says, "What do you think, bro? What do you think?" I said,
"What did you tell him?"
I said, "It's terrible. I would just park it, give me the keys, and I'll go shred."
I'll show you.
I'll joking,
show
Nick.
Done.
It's far from gross.
No, let Nick come up here. You know, like,
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you
look
go.
at Splash. Woo!
Some rooster tail from Austin Mata. I thought he was wakeboarding for a moment.
Yeah, he was getting it. He absolutely. I think he was gleaming the cube, as they say.
Gleaming the cube.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
You don't remember Gleaming the Cube?
No, I have no idea what you're talking
Christian
about.
Slater movie about an Asian gang, and Christian Slater was the hero, and he skateboarded. No? Tony Hawk was an extra in the movie.
Wow.
Oh, dude,
look out, I guess.
Gleaming the Cube.
There you go.
It's a random poll.
Available on Netflix.
No. But you know what it is? Deadpool and Deadpool 2, available on digital and download today, featuring Ryan Reynolds.
Who?
That's a Sam Nalvin joke. That was a deep cut.
Big fan of Deadpool, for sure.
Deadpool is probably one of my favorite movies of all time now.
Yep.
And Deadpool 2.
And together with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
Best soundtracks, for sure.
Fact.
Yep.
Fact.
But back to the drifting.
Yeah, what do we got here?
Look at that. Fielding Shredder and Dustin Miles.
There he is.
There it is. Dustin, good old.
I'm so used to Dustin having like ridiculous liveries, like kind of the J inspired. So him seeing so clean slate. But look at Cleater, no doors, Cletus McFarland. Hell wet brother is what he is feeling right now.
I mean, he's probably very used to the
Would you say he's moist?
Moist?
Yes.
I think we're talking about like what's wetter than wet?
Soaked.
Soaking wet.
Yep. Soaked up McFarland.
Yep. Basically, that's him right now.
But that you saw that train right there. That was an awesome train. You had Cletus. I saw Ryan Turk. And here's Mata ready. Splish, splash. That was actually what that is that's called Essence of Man. That is it's a new cologne created by Austin Mata. Mata.
Essence of Man.
Yes, it is. It does Mata when you need to smell good.
It probably smelled like tires and grime.
And a little bit of regret. And a little bit of regret. A little bit of regret that you didn't bring a rain jacket or an umbrella.
Exactly, regret for being in the splash zone without being prepared.
Splash zone's good though. I think it's you know, these guys are out here shredding, having some fun. So
we were up
look at we got more R's here.
More R's, so they just keep multiplying.
Yes.
We were up there in the rooftop watching the racing, and Chris pulled up his umbrella.
Okay. Stewart?
And Miller.
Okay.
He almost became Mary Poppins.
Oh, word? Almost flew away.
So
I don't think he was going to land. Sugar makes the boy. Oh, look at Vaughn getting Jr. going off course here. Chelsea Noe for the RTR Bros, ready to rock, ready to get wet. As Larry Chen is chasing him down in his Gazoo Racing Toyota Supra, affixed with the Canon rigs. I said his car looks like if you break your leg terribly and it has those braces around it.
Like Conor McGregor terribly?
Yeah, like Conor McGregor terribly, yes. So it has those like braces that are kind of exoskeletons.
Okay.
I feel like that's like on the front of his rig.
Right? Like all the
bracketry.
Rig, yeah.
All the screws going in the legs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was like cannons for a moment.
Right? Yep, too close for missiles, switching guns.
Yeah.
That's Magic Mike Pollard. That's who it is.
Well, that is
Driving Pollard's car?
I think they're doing like alternate. No, that's Matthew Dale's car.
No, the one in tow, the black and orange. That's Magic Mike.
Magic Mike. He's here, but he's helping Matt Dale. Matt Dale is
driving his car.
He's driving his car, and he brought in Mike. To help him. But he said that they might be doing like some back and forth.
So we don't know who's mystery driver right now.
Yeah, but that is Dale's car.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it says Magic Mike on it.
No, yeah, that's just because of his shop. And like on the glass in the window.
No, the door card says Magic Drift.
Yeah.
So it could be Mike, it could be Dale.
I wonder if
there's duplicate cars maybe.
I wonder if Mike has been driving Matt's car on clutch kickers or something.
I'm thoroughly confused.
I don't know. I talked to him earlier, and he was like, "Yeah, no, today I'm just gonna be helping, but I might get some driving action." So
I like it.
We'll see. We'll figure it out.
Some action.
That was Cypress Hill.
That was nice.
Wow, very good.
Look at you pulling that. That was nice.
Cypress is my jam, man.
Is it?
Yeah, the jammy jams.
You know, I think it's like the 30th anniversary of Cypress Hill.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Something like that.
Those guys go hard. And speaking of going hard, Fielding Shredder.
Great segue.
I'm surprised he has all his body panels. Usually by now he's already the car will be like fully destroyed.
Is that Shredder Boy?
Yeah.
Shred Town.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does like to shred his bumpers.
Yeah.
And there's D Miles. There's Turkey.
The Miles of Style.
Miles of Style. Ryan Turk, Michael Essa, Josh Robinson, and TJ Hunt with the spin. Oh, Tej. Sheesh. Tej. What's going on, buddy?
There you go.
Cleater.
It's just like pedal to the metal.
Yep, Cletus McSoken.
It just keeps going.
Oh, now he's making steam, dude. Throw some rice out back there.
There you go.
Start steaming some rice.
The
poncho flapping in the wind.
Epic.
Right? He's having a blast, man. All these guys really are. Just overall, the event. Oh, there we go.
Ryan is back. Okay, good to see that the car's not.
Literally, he is back, not figuratively.
Not figuratively.
Oh, we're getting pumps. We're getting arm pumps here.
Yeah. Look at him go.
Dude, Jersey Shore beating the beat.
Nice. I was a little concerned when we saw him pulling to the side last round, and looks like he's just ready to go.
Dude, those GT radials look thick.
Yeah. Some thick boys.
Fans still hanging out here. Again, we have an amazing lineup here this evening.
I've heard it's going to stop raining like around 7:30, maybe 8.
Word?
That's kind of what the forecast looked like yesterday. I don't know if it's probably going to change.
All right, Paco,
now.
so I'm up in the helicopter right now. I'm taking a look, and it looks like, I'm seeing definitely the precipitation starting to dry up. Yeah, definitely 7:30. Sorry, I just jumped up to the helicopter.
Thank you, Jared.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Sky Jared. Back to you, Ground Jared.
It's wet.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of wet, there's more spinnings. Look at that. That wiper's doing double duty.
Holy cow, yeah. It's more of a distraction than it's helping.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, Matt Dale
or there we go.
Magic Mike, followed by Daniel Stuckey, M-Spec Carbon Kevlar S14 point something.
15.9er?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this 3-wide. Vaughn getting Junior Chelsea to know for Ryan Turk. Good transition here.
An RTR sandwich with a Sprints of Toyota. Of Corolla.
Little RTR inside-out sandwich.
Yep. Up.
We're going mud. We're going mud bogging.
I mean, he's driving two vehicles. He's got his truck. He's got his car. Right. At some points, he gets confused. Like, which one am I driving right now?
Speaking of his truck, brand new built. Lauren Healy and Vaughn's rigs.
Brocky 2.0 is calling it.
Just met the Y-pipe dude in that JZX.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Is it 100 or a 90?
Didn't ask him. I think it's a 50 cent. I think it's a JZX 50.
We're never gonna know. No, I think it's 100. But look at that serene calm of
The bumper,
the wet
just lying
track.
there.
It's so poetic.
Just write a haiku about this.
That bumper.
Cletus still going hard. He was like, "Oh man, it's gonna be wet, brother." I said, "Dude, you know what's good about that? Tires.
Yeah.
Like you're good." He's still getting after it.
Yeah, he's
Pitter patter.
not like going slow or anything. He's just
No,
going,
look, he's
like,
tapping the roof. He's loving this.
he wants the drone to tap him in the roof, I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, people are hyped. I know they're shaking their mullets over there on that first turn too.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with the mullet.
Shake
It's
that
like,
mullet.
it's not
Watch
like feeling
yourself.
it, like, okay, I
Show
see.
me what you're working with. Right?
Look
Oh,
at that.
throwing horns. Look at it. Ponchos. Poncho Villa.
Ponchos and ponchos.
Yo, dog, I heard you like ponchos. Matt Field, that Drift Cave, Falcon Tire, Corvette.
Party Corvette.
Yeah, I'm not seeing. I'm seeing Soap on the lineup. And here's the Drift Riot boys.
Drift Riot boys. They've been going at it all day.
Yeah, they've been
on it.
Going for it.
Yep. The wet conditions
Got
haven't
the S
stopped
train.
anybody.
Oh, well, S with a little Z. Little Z mix.
Oh, he just did like a little spinaroo. Even the best spins every now and then.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's definitely.
When's the last time
definitely
you? When's the last time you spun, Jared?
You spin me right round, right round.
Like a record?
Yep. You
Right-
spin
right
me
round?
right, baby, right round.
For the kids, a record, it's what it's colloquially known
vinyl
as a
pressing.
vinyl pressed. Used to play music, and after you're tired of it, you can use it as a frisbee.
Monophonic, stereophonic.
Yeah.
Different. Put the needle on the record. Put the needle on the record.
That's what you used to make those.
Yeah.
Scratch and pitch.
Scratch. Whoa, what?
Scratch and pitch.
Oh, I thought
Scratch
you
and pitch.
just called me a name. Like, whoa.
If I wanted to, I would.
Oh, I know. I know. You're a very hostile
I'm
gentleman.
not. Another guy, Austin Kriegel, like a lot of anger. Oh, there goes the doof.
Doof, go back.
Austin Mata, like, not Austin Mata, Matt
Ichimata.
Sopa, literally
Sopa.
commanding the boat that the Fusion is.
What if Matt Sopa and Austin Mata blended their names? It'd be Matt Mata.
Matt Mata, or
I like it.
Sap Sopa.
Yep, that's true. Austin Sopa,
Austin
but I like
Sopa.
Matt Mata.
Yep,
But it does Mata.
it does.
The old Falcons out here. No Dai Yoshihara, so hopefully we'll see him under the lights.
I hope so.
Underneath the Iron Curtain.
The Iron Curtain of the lasers.
Stookie chasing him down. There's Lauren Healy back on the start line. The Alpine Horizon Festival.
Yeah.
Sudded.
I see Michael Laurent, Purple Cressida, Yankee Soku team.
So a wet session. The tires keep on spinning. No smoke, but steam is being created. Overall, we'll be back here. I mean, a little behind schedule due to weather and just a slight delay.
Inclement
But
weather.
want to make sure we're going to be.
Oh, there's Chris Jenner in his
I think
Civic.
it's about 9. I think we're looking at a 9er.
Nice.
We're looking at a 9er. So yeah, Paco. Oh, there's Chris Jenner.
There's Chris Jenner.
Jenner in that Honda Civic.
And your buddy
And
in
the wide plate.
JCX.
Yeah, JZX. All right, Paco, we're gonna wrap up this session.
We're about to wrap it.
Yeah.
Wrap it. Put a bow.
Smack it
kiss
up, flip it, and reverse it, as they say. It's you don't have to. All right.
I didn't know what
Paco
it was.
Ibarra, 125 Rs. Thank you for all your donations, for contributing all to the R Foundation, supporting Paco Ibarra and his R Foundation. So
That's
I'm
a lot
Jared
of
Dienda,
Rs I need to
Paco
feed.
Ibarra, and that's it. That's a wrap. Look at Shank. Sir Shanks a lot. This is Alpine Horizon Festival, Pikes Peak International Raceway, curated by GRIDLIFE.
See you in a bit.
GRIDLIFE Drift is brought to you by FCP Euro. Every part you buy is guaranteed for life. And by Falken Tire. Falken Tires, competition-proven performance. MOMO, the official safety partner of GRIDLIFE. BC Racing, the official suspension of GRIDLIFE Drift. Highly engineered custom coilovers that put you in control of every driving condition. Alpine Horizon is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Airlift Performance. Airlift Performance lets you get low and live your life on air. Check out all their newest products, including Builder Series shocks, threaded manifolds, and flow air ride tanks at airliftperformance.com.